Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. And this is your Breakfast Bankroll for Tuesday, October 12th, 2022. Yes, I barely have a voice. And truth be told, if Julian was not taking a month or so leave of absence, I might have given him the morning off, but he is awaiting his second child, and I needed to thank him for everything he's done for us up to this, and obviously wish him good luck, and also get his thoughts on the locals as the Bruins and the Celtics are getting ready to start. The Zappy era has begun. At least five huge games in college. MLB playoffs start today, so I needed to muscle through this. I'm going to let him do all the talking today. So without further ado, let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Julian Edlow.
I'll do what I can. I got as many takes as I can share before I disappear for a month or so.
Exciting times for you, Julian.
Yeah, exciting, terrifying. Kids are crazy, so we'll be cutting it off at 2. There will be no more. I won't be disappearing during the middle of any more NFL seasons. Or what I care about even more, the start of NBA season, the start of college basketball season. I know everybody loves football, but getting involved early in basketball is something that I very much like to do. So that's why, I have a pinned tweet, let everybody know where I'm going to be. I'll when I leave, I'm going to tag everybody that's going to have the content covered for me. If you're somebody that follows my content at DraftKings. But that said, I'm still going to be, what do I do with my free time? Kids go to bed at night. I'm still going to be watching games. I'm still going to tweet out some NBA stuff that I see, and I'm excited about that.
I've had November's first circle for a long, long time. It's the start for the kids, the college basketball. It's a great time of year because you're 8-9 weeks into college football, 8 weeks or so into the NFL. In come the college basketball, kids getting some practice time in, getting a few layup games in before they start their tournaments, and especially the holiday tournaments. But you talked about the NBA. We talked last week about Zion. He looks phenomenal. A week later, as we're getting closer to open and tip-off, any more moves that you made in the futures market or anything you're seeing, anything you're not liking you're seeing?
So the Pelicans are the only team that I've backed so far in the futures market. They're minus 165 to make the playoffs, which I like. I think they might not even have to mess around with the play-in tournament, which, by the way, this team made the play-in tournament last year with Brandon Ingram dinged up, McCollum coming over at the trade deadline, no Zion all year, and they started the year 3-16. And they still made the play-in tournament, won both their play-in games, and took the Suns, number 1 seed Suns, to 6 games in the first round. I don't think we're going to have to mess with the play-in tournament. I think they'll get to top 6. Everybody asks the question, they're 9th in the odds in the Western Conference. There's 9 teams in the odds higher than them. Like, who are you going to put them in for? I don't know, but a few of them aren't going to be there. Like, the Suns seem to be slipping. I haven't bet them yet. If I were to give out another NBA future now, I would bet the Suns under 52.5 wins. You can bet them head-to-head win totals with the Clippers and Warriors on DK Sportsbook. Clippers are minus 130. Warriors are minus 120. I think both of those teams are going to be better than the Suns. But Minnesota's getting a lot of hype. Like, New Orleans will jump a couple of teams. They're minus 140 on the over 44.5 wins. I put that out as a play. And then I'm going alt win total on them. 48.5, over 48.5, plus 200 on DK Sportsbook. It's only 4 more wins than their win total. Like, if they're going to comfortably eclipse it, if you're juicing to minus 140 on 44.5, I think plus 200 on over 48.5 is pretty good. So I like all the above on the New Orleans Pelicans. That's kind of going to be my team this year. But yeah, I'm looking into fading the Suns. I think there might be something to that, especially if there's 9 really good teams in the West. Those are some games that Phoenix could, some teams that Phoenix could potentially lose some games to if the West is getting deeper once again. The only other thing that's jumping out to me, I didn't know how to feel about the Celtics. They were at one point in time minus 135 to win the Atlantic Division. Now they're plus 130, plus 135. And what moved it is Durant returning to the Nets and then the Udoka situation. The Celtics' first unit has looked terrific. And even Jaylen Brown with the bench on Friday night coming back to beat Charlotte. The Celtics have looked pretty good. They've looked pretty unfazed. I'm starting to think maybe there could be some value on them. I don't think it's going to be the Nets that win that division. What worries me is no Rob Williams for a while. I would say until like Christmas, New Year's type of time. And the fact that the Sixers just keep not getting over the hump. They might be a team that's a little bit more focused on the regular season, and they have a pretty good team. But getting the plus money on the Celtics might be a little bit of value. Might decide to do something about that. But yeah, just Pelicans futures are what I'm on in the NBA, and we got them all up on DK Sportsbook, including the alts. You can bet them head-to-head win totals too. Minus 105 to have a better record than the Hawks. Plus 150 to have a better record than the Timberwolves. That one is kind of sticking out to me. I think, Minnesota's a team everybody's kind of hyped about getting Gobert. That should help their defense. Karl Anthony Towns had some non-COVID illness that he lost like 20 pounds in the offseason. We'll see how he starts the year. I like Anthony Edwards. He's going to take a jump, but the Pelicans and Wolves feel like similar teams to me. You're getting plus 150 on one there.
The team I'm hearing from the so-called sharps is the Clippers. Now, we know the Clippers, it's the same song every year. Kawhi, is he healthy? Is he not healthy? Paul George. Now, I don't know what you can do.
Kawhi has to be healthy. He hasn't played in almost a year and a half. I don't know if he's going to get hurt again or not. That's random, up to the basketball gods. But he has to be healthy. I'll answer that question.
I don't know what to do with the Lakers. Obviously, you can't say it's a perfect buy low because Vegas never sets their number up correctly anyways. Does Westbrook turn it around? Does Anthony Davis stay healthy? LeBron, is this his 20th season, Julian, or 19th? 20th?
20.
Is it the magical year for them? They get a couple pieces at the All-Star break. I like your eyes, obviously, with the Pelicans. Minnesota was so fun. Edwards, oh my God. He was amazing in Georgia. He comes over here, and they were a fun team. I like where your eyes are with the Suns. Injuries slow them down. Aiden. I don't know. I like you. I think you're pretty spot on over there. Obviously, Trader Danny blows up Utah. If you other than the Pelicans, let me start here. And then Minnesota's the hype train. Is there anyone else out west like laying low that had a bad year last year that you're looking at the numbers that just seem a little out of whack, like a Portland, any of those teams, or are they just dead in the water?
Portland would be the only team, like you mentioned it. They were awful last year. And now, like, if you get a healthy year out of Damian Lillard, still with Nurkic there, and some other decent role players, like Josh Hart's a good role player. Like, they could be decent. I think they can make that play-in round.
Okay.
But again, like, you look at the top 9, I don't know who they're necessarily gonna beat. So I think it's a play-in round type of situation for Portland. I don't think they have enough to. Trading McCollum kind of showed their hand. They're just not good enough right now, and there's a lot of good teams out there. So I don't really see Portland going anywhere. And then when you get below them, those bottom 5 teams in the West, they're all tanking for what's a fantastic draft class. And the best prospect I've seen since LeBron James, I would say, in Victor Wembanyama. If any, I'll say this: if and when any books put up that number 1 overall pick prop, if for any reason there's, let's talk about Wembanyama. No, you're not going to get plus money, but if for any reason Wembanyama's not hurt and there's like anything close to a bettable number, or Scoot Harrison's having a really good G League year. Because I look at all the sites, NBADraft.net, before those 2 games played in Vegas and those 2 kids went head to head, they had Scoot Henderson as the number 1 pick in that draft. So for any reason at all, there's ever a number that's I'm talking I'll lay minus 500 on Wembanyama. If there's a number that's available that's not minus 10,000, I would bet it.
The hype of him last week was just absolutely phenomenal.
And he lived up to it.
Yeah, LeBron.
This is not a Chet Holmgren prospect. This is 100 times the prospect of Chet Holmgren.
I thought of you and I thought of Chet as soon as I saw him too. I thought of exactly that. I was just because I remember out in July, you were watching the games out in at UNLV working with Veasan, and he's good. I didn't want to compare him to Bradley. I just says he's got the frame of a Bradley. Hopefully he bulks up and then obviously he gets hurt. But this kid came in. How do you say his last name again?
Wembanyama.
NBA is going to be in for a shitstorm the second half of the year. And I can't wait to see what Vegas does with some of these numbers, because there is just going to be a mad dash for number 1.
So these are ones that I have at points in time. Once we get past the All-Star break and you have some of those nights where all these teams battling for top seeds and battling for divisions, let's say you have the Celtics playing the Thunder one night, the Warriors playing the Spurs, and the Sixers playing the Magic, all in one night. I'll mess around with some of those just 3-team money line parlays at the end of the year. And if you do that, a few times a week, you're going to lose some here and there. There's going to be slip ups, but super square, not going to come giving in 3-team money line parlays. But from the All-Star break to close with tanking seasons like that, I'll be getting involved in some of that.
He's destined to be a Spur.
Spur. All right. I mean, that would keep Pop around, right?
That's right. All right, let's shift gears. NFL. It's just amazing how you talked about it, by the way. 35,000, 40,000 people to view Detroit's official first game outside. And I don't think they wanted to get off the plane. The Patriots was 29-0. Stevenson ran for 165. Zappy didn't make any mistakes. Thoughts for the game? Thoughts about them at the Browns this week?
Yeah, I almost laid it with the Patriots and didn't, and I'm kicking myself about that. Tough that you're going to lay points with Bailey Zappi in his first start. That's what kept me off it ultimately. But Lions, it was a spot to expose the Lions as a team that was putting up all these points in the domes, and they come outside and play a decent defense and couldn't muster up a score somehow. They were in position to score plenty of times. They didn't. I thought the Pats were going to run all over them. They did. I bet Damian Harris rushing prop over, leaves with the hamstring injury. Stevenson goes for $160. Here's a market I want to try and get. Teams that have these 2-headed running back attacks, give me combos. I don't want to bet both of them. I want to bet Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson over 105 yards or whatever their combined was. So that's something I'm working on that I don't think is offered anywhere. So that's all I have on that game. I'm mad about my prop, and it gave me an idea for a new market.
No, I love that idea. I do. I just hate to bring this up, but it's the talk last night. It was the talk Sunday. Atlanta comes rolling back. sacks Brady with a chance now to get the ball and win the game. And they called the roughing the passer. And then again last night on Carr, it's getting ugly out there. I know we're here to talk to Mark, but what can we do? I mean, you tweeted it out last night. There's a lot of money at hand here with a whistle and a flag. A lot of money exchanging hands here.
Yeah, the refs have a lot of power in all sports. And, you know, the Brady one was really bad. And then last night takes the cake because it was like, you know, technically that should have been, if you don't call that roughing the passer one, Derek Carr is getting credit for the tackle on Chris Jones because Chris Jones is going down with the ball and Derek Carr is touching him on the ground. So Derek Carr is tackling Chris Jones and you're calling a roughing the passer on a guy that doesn't even have the ball. It was a great play by Jones, and then he got called late, there was a no call late when he was clearly getting held on the Raiders' last drive. Not that things didn't go both ways. The defensive holding on the kick that Kansas City got up, and then they continued the drive and scored a touchdown. It was a mess with the refs. You're never going to get perfect officiating. We're just going to try and get it as correct as possible without delaying the game too much. You want to get it right, and you want to get it right quickly is what we want as sports fans. I've always liked the idea of don't let the refs on the field make some of these decisions. Like you always see them go over to this screen that's like the size of my cell phone and put the headphones on. Just have somebody say to them, like, this is what happened. This is what the call is, and get it correct. So I would say that, and I would say that clearly if we're going to put such a strong emphasis on these plays on the quarterback and calling it so lightly, then they need to be reviewable because there's going to be more of them if the refs are just doing their job. They're trying to, it's getting drilled into their head, protect the quarterback, roughing the passer, full body weight penalties and whatever. I don't know how you're supposed to tackle somebody if you're not using your full weight. Just be able to review them and do them quickly. And, last night they would have looked at that replay and flipped it. Chiefs ball, fumble recovery.
And in the Dolphin-Jet game, first possession, Teddy gets sacked. He didn't get his head slammed to the ground. Immediately he got up. He was fine. He wasn't woozy. And they bring him to the tent. They bring him to the locker room. I heard he passed all the tests. And obviously what Miami had been through with Tua, there was no way in holy hell that they were going to let Teddy go play.
Yeah, not good for my Jets win total under. They just keep pulling them out of a hat. And then they go against a 7th round rookie in that one. We're seeing a clear overreaction, and not that it shouldn't be reacted to because concussions are very serious, but just find the middle and go with the middle. They were letting players play through things that they shouldn't have before. Now they're trying to overreact. So I think we might even see something similar now with the protecting the quarterback, roughing the passer type of penalties, because it's gotten to a situation where now it's going to be addressed like the concussion thing was addressed, and we'll see how it goes. But just find the middle on both of them and keep it moving.
I had the holy grail. I have 8 high stakes fantasy teams, but I had the holy grail.
That's way too many. Play DFS.
Well, I do play DFS, and I don't even want to tell you about my DFS this week. But I had the holy grail. Teddy Bridgewater, 0 points. T. Higgins gave the fantasy people the big middle finger there, 0
Perfect.
points. And Darren Waller, what a bum he is. Gets paid. He gives up these guys, listen, the guys in the 70s and 80s, even 90s are laughing at these guys. They never would have made it back then. Never would have made it.
Agreed.
All right.
Are we going to do any? Let me ask you this. You can go wherever you want with that question. I got till 11 today. I'm good. Are we going to do any baseball? Because I do like some of this baseball.
All right. Well, I wasn't sure. That was my next question.
Okay.
4 series, 4 huge dogs. Now, I think some of the thought process is these teams have been sitting and waiting. They got their pitcher lined up. Some of these others had to grind. I get it. Unless we're going to do some money line parlays with the favorites, or if you can lose game one, you can get in there and get them in game two. I can't wait to hear your thoughts here on the baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I come to you. I want some of your thoughts on the baseball too. But here's where I tweeted some thoughts out after the football game last night. I do really like I think the Braves should beat the Phillies. But I haven't done anything there yet, and I don't love the game one matchup. That's one where I think maybe the Phillies can get game one, and then you come in and get the Braves. I'm not sure there yet. But I bet Guardians and Cardinals series in the wild card rounds and split those. I feel like if the Cardinals get 2 more outs in game one, I feel like they win the series. That was just what a meltdown, and I feel like it carried into the next game of just being dead from whatever happened in game one. So here's where I'm at. I really wanted to like the fun Mariners story. But they haven't been good against Houston this year. They're 7-12 against the Astros, and I know the regular season doesn't matter much, but divisional matchups, you're getting almost a 20-game sample size. There's a little something to that. But the recent games, Houston won 6 of the last 7 matchups since they played July 22nd. The 6 wins were by 3.5 runs per game. So what I did here, I do have the Astros first 5 run line. The Verlander first 5 run line is something all year that you just kind of play. 3 earned runs in 23 innings pitched since he returned from the injury. I think he's fine. I think he's rested. He's at home. 5-1 against Seattle this year with a 2.34 ERA. He's 5-1 to the first 5 run line against Seattle this year. And the 3 that were at home covered all 3 first 5 run lines at home. Gilbert's been good. 2.52 ERA in his 3 starts against Houston, but he's been worse on the road, and he had some struggles in the second half of the year. So I'm going with the Astros first 5 run line there. And then I like here's another way to bet the big favorites. If you like them off the bat, -110, Astros win game 1, win the series. I like him with Verlander on the mound in game 1. If he comes through, now you got a -110 for the series with a 1-0 lead. So that's the way that I would play the heavy favorite in that one. And I kind of did the same thing in the Dodgers series. This matchup, you kind of like the Padres, right? So other people are telling me this, like Steve Buchanan's our baseball guy at DK, and they're like, oh, I could see the Padres. Again, not a huge baseball guy here. I don't see why you people can see it because the Dodgers went 14-5 against the Padres this season. You know what the score of the games was, Jeff? 109-47. They outscored them by 62 runs this season. And the 5 losses that the Dodgers had, 3 of those were by just 1 run, and they were all on the road in San Diego. So the Padres had to scrape out these home games by a run, whereas the Dodgers are just whacking it all over the place, beating the pulp out of them in all the other games. I don't know. I don't know. So here's how I did it. I did the same 2 bets. I have the Dodgers are -130 to win game 1 and win the series. I played that. I think they win game 1 with Urias on the mound against Clevenger. And then I also did the first 5 run line. This game 1 matchup, Urias has made 4 starts against San Diego, 1.50 ERA, and the Dodgers went 4-0 in those games, 3-1 to the first 5 run line. He faced San Diego 3 times last month. They won all 3, obviously. Combined score 21-5. Here's the thing that's jumping out to me. San Diego thinks that after playing a 3-game long series in New York, they're going to start this series out with Clevenger. Clevenger faced the Dodgers 3 times this year, 9.69 ERA. He gave up 14 runs in 13 innings, 5 home runs, 0-2 on the first 5 run line against the Dodgers. He gave up at least 4 runs in every start, 5 runs in each of the games he started at Dodger Stadium. How are you going to get off to a good start in the series with this guy who got clobbered every time? There's my baseball analysis. Those are the 2 series I played. That's
I think you're spot on. Here's the funny. When you sent me the text last week, And I sent you the quick reply saying this is what Vegas wants you to think.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you look at the four, right? There's no way in hell that the Padres are beating the Dodgers, and there's no way in hell that Seattle's beating Houston. Seattle is playing with house money. I am scared shitless of them. They can wheel out.
I'm a little scared of Seattle. I like the Dodgers more than I like the Astros.
I need the Astros. We got them AL and World Series from way back, and I got them on that circuit ticket with the Bills and Bama. So I'm scared to shit of Seattle. I don't know what's going on in New York. No Chapman now. I think the Guardians are pesky, but again, they don't hit the home run ball. Listen, they got the 2-run homer by Ramirez in game 1 and 15 innings. They combined for 39 strikeouts. I mean, either team could have won that. If you put that kind of offense against the Yankees, you're going to lose.
Right.
So
even with the Yankees down on offense lately, I love the pitching for Cleveland, love the closer if they get into a situation to close a game out. But we just saw they put up 4 runs in their series. Like you're not going to beat the Yankees with that.
100%. And then the last one, listen, the Cardinals look like the layup. Again, up 2-0, 1 out in the ninth. They were minus 2,000. I mean, the Phillies were like plus 1,500. And then the shitstorm, they got the touchdown. Carries over to game 2. Now the Cardinals are real tight. Had a couple opportunities. Phillies playing with house money against the world champs. And we know this. They don't have a strong back end. But their back end is what won them those 2 games against St. Louis. And when you have an opportunity to wheel out Nola and you're going to wheel out Wheeler, you got 2 horses that can match up with anyone. Offensively, Schwarber, Harper, Hoskins, they're again dangerous. But it's hard to say there's no way in hell they can match up with the Braves. I can see that, what you're saying.
Yeah, after breaking it down, those were the 2 comfortable spots, Houston and the Dodgers, to kind of get going on the right foot in game 1 and then win the series that I was in on. But I feel like I want to back the Braves. I feel like they have advantage. I feel like they're still deeper starting pitching, much deeper bullpen, and they have the better offense. I just don't quite know how to do it given the pricing. You can lay a game and a half and say the Braves win it in 4 or less at plus 140. Great price, but I don't like betting. I do that. Like I did that in the NBA playoffs, like laying some games with the Warriors against the Nuggets. Like I know that's not going to go deep. But and like the Bucks, I laid some games with the Bucks against the Bulls. Like that's not going to go deep. This is baseball. It's a 5-game series. The Phillies can easily get it to a game 5. I would like the Braves, but they can get it there. So I don't know how to bet. It. You got anything? You got anything strong in baseball that you're like, this is the bet for this round? That's a no. It's hard.
I'm priced out. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I am physically priced out. I'll tell you what. You want a strong play? I'll tell you what a strong play is. You take all 4 dogs, you put a half a unit on them. You split, you win a unit.
True. I mean, it's not the worst way to think of it. You did well with that if you did it in the wild card. We got 3 dogs.
Yeah. I think, like you said, the Dodgers, if this was a football game, should be favored by, a field goal at 3.5. I mean, this matchup on paper looks like, hey, we just want to get through game 1. We want to get our horses set up. Dodgers have been licking their chops. Carrasco's going to spin a gem. That's just the way it happens in baseball. Seattle, Seattle puts up a crooked number in the first, and we're in the 8th, and it's 2-1. It's insanity how baseball works.
It is. That's why I'm usually not involved too much, but I have my positions here.
I like where your head is.
I went into this saying the Braves were the team that I wanted to bet, and then I started going through the numbers and doing the research and like, what are the prices on this stuff, and wound up where I wound up.
I think you're in a good spot. I mean, going in right now, the hottest team in my eyes is the Braves. Now, they might get Strider back if they win this series, and then they face the Dodgers or the Padres. So again, to get him back would be huge. But seasoned veterans, world champs, probably playing better. Last year they didn't even have Acuna in the World Series. Now they got Acuna there. So dangerous team for sure.
Yeah.
All right, your cup of tea right here. I mean, can you ask for a bigger 4 or 5 games this weekend in college football? I mean, you got to be licking your chops. I don't know if it's Bama, Tennessee, if you're going to the big house, Michigan, Penn State off a week off. There's a handful of other good games. We got about 7 minutes. I'm going to hand you the board, see what your eyes are seeing, what your tickets are seeing, and any leans or anything that you might have.
I don't really love the football board that much from a betting standpoint, Saturday or Sunday, to be honest. But I put a few plays out. I did get the Thursday night game, Baylor off a bye at West Virginia. I know West Virginia, decent quarterback play, but I like Baylor there if you can get 3. BYU, I put out at a bad number. I laid the 3 with BYU. Now it's around a pick or you can get a point. And that being, I guess KJ Jefferson was doubtful for Alabama, and now he's going to play. I kind of just assumed he was going to go. He was kind of dinged up last week and played. I kind of assumed he would play the whole time. I wish I got the better number, obviously. I would love him at a pick rather than laying a few points. But at home, BYU against this Arkansas team has just kept going through these tough SEC road games, and now you're going to go play BYU, and BYU's just good veteran team. I know they're off Notre Dame, but I like the spot for BYU. And then the game. So I'm Tennessee, Bama. This game is all about Bryce Young. If Bryce Young plays, I think they win it by 7 or more. If Bryce Young doesn't play, I think Tennessee is very live to win the game. They're probably live to win the game either way, but I think they do. Alabama does win with Bryce Young. This is a wait and see for me, and I probably won't even bet the game. I'll probably just root for Bama to win for future purposes, and see where that one goes. The game I'm really looking forward to. Utah killed me again. 2 losses now. We can't afford many more. Kiss the college football playoff goodbye if there was any kind of outside chance at getting in with the 1 loss and then winning 11-12 in a row. But I would love to see this team make and win the Pac-12 championship game, and that starts by beating USC at home on Saturday night. I would say my favorite spot of the week, lay the 3 with Utah at home. USC is going to be the public dog. They're 6-0. They've gotten very fortunate in terms of turnover margin. Now you're going to be playing an angry Utah team off a road loss to UCLA at home Saturday night. Big game. Utah needs it more, and I feel like USC is just due to hit a speed bump here. So favorite football play of the week, I guess, is Utah -3 hosting USC. Give me all that public money on USC, please.
It's funny. Someone reached out to me. They had a show to do last night, and they says, "Give me your one play, just one play." And I was thinking of you and this game, and I used the circle lines, and I showed them the circle lines, and the under/over in that game was 60 and a hook. And I said, he goes, "Well, I need some information. I don't know anything about the game." I said, "Well, in comes USC undefeated, Lincoln Riley versus a Utah team now coming off a big loss, now 2 losses, the UCLA game on Saturday at home." I kind of said to him, I think whoever has the ball last probably is going to win this game. I mean, Utah's got a stingy defense, but when they get in one of these matchups, it's a track meet, Julian. It was with
UCLA. I'm thinking about the Saturday night road game for USC at Oregon State, which they almost lost, but you squeak that game out with a last-second touchdown when you won the turnover margin by 4. I think the turnover margin is the key. Utah's got to get some turnovers and protect the ball because USC is just winning the turnover margin every week, and it's been, that can't be luck every week, but some of it is a little luck. You don't get this type of turnover margin that USC is getting. So that's the key to the game for me, and Utah needs it more. To me, I think not the more talented team, but I think Utah is the better team, if that makes sense, the more well-rounded team. So I'm hoping that plays out in kind of a desperate spot at home in a big Saturday night game.
I'm going to throw one last nugget at you. I know where we both sit with Alabama, and I know it sits on Bryce Young. Stroud now went to minus 140. They look unbeatable. Again, their team total gets there again by the hook. Last
What am I doing?
Saturday. I know it's free money. It's a bingo square. I'm going to throw something out at you. I'm not telling you to play it. I just want you to think about it. Hooker's 14-1 to win the Heisman.
Right.
If they beat Bama this week, he's got a shot. Now, instead of going in taking the 7 or the plus 180 on the money line, get a 14-1. Bryce Young plays, he's not good, or he doesn't play. Now, listen, Stroud and Ohio State will be a slot machine all year. I get that part. But they're giving you 14-1. He has the recipe. If he wins this game, they win the SEC. He's got to be in the talks, and they're giving you 14-1.
Oh, yeah. I would say if Tennessee wins this game and gets itself somehow to the SEC championship game, probably the only other thing you would need is one loss for Ohio State somewhere along the way, and that would set it up for Hooker. So, yes, you're getting good value. I think the only thing in my mind is like you're comparing it a little bit to just a way better price than the Tennessee money line this week. Whereas I would say you're kind of parlaying Tennessee money line with someone along the way to beat Ohio State. Because if Ohio State keeps going, it's gonna go to Stroud. So it's a two-part thing, I guess. You need Tennessee to win this and then keep winning, and you need somebody to get Ohio State.
Any promos, any final closing thoughts, as we won't see you for 3-4 weeks, my brother?
Yeah, no real final thoughts. I'm excited for NBA. I'm excited for the Pelicans to get going. I like them opening night, +4 and +150 on the money line in Brooklyn to beat the Nets. Promo-wise, if you're betting some MLB playoffs, I think we have a 40% profit boost going on if you're betting MLB today. You can't really beat that. Take one of the heavy favorites, take a 40% profit boost down, and now you're getting the price that you want on them. So that's what I'll leave you with for a promo right now on DK Sportsbook.
The one and only Julian Edlow. Hey, best of luck. Send lots of pictures on social media. We want to see child Miss number 2, please, and enjoy your vacation, will you? And we'll be talking soon.
Thank you, Jeff. I'll text you. I'll text you some pictures. I don't put my kids on social media for all these heathens to have at it. I leave them alone. Nobody cares. I can go on a rant before I go. Nobody cares about the family stuff on Twitter. That's why I don't do any family stuff. They just want to yell at you about lost bets and get like one reply, "Hey, thanks," if you win a bet. That's all they care about.
Take care, my brother.
Take care, Jeff.
The one and only Julian Edlow, DraftKings at Julian Edlow, at DK Sportsbook, at DK Nation, Live Nation, actually. Muscled through 40 minutes. As you can tell, I have no voice. I'm going to try to get together with Riley and try to get out a MLB preview here. See if we can get some breakdowns there. Let him vent about his Packers loss on Sunday. Get you set up for some great baseball. Again, as what I said in the baseball, I don't give out -200s very often. If I do, it's a half unit. And listen, I think the Phillies in Seattle are live dogs. I really do. And I'm sitting there with a Houston Astro ticket to win the AL and to win it all. They're playing with house money. And it's the best of 5. It's not 7. So if you can get a split on the road, you never have to leave home if you take the next 2. So we're going to break those down, and we're going to start talking about the college games. There's some big games. NHL tonight. I think this starts 2 games as well. NBA around the corner. So thank you for all that watched and listened. Hope to have a show later this afternoon. So behave yourself, enjoy the baseball game, and we'll see you soon.